We've had the men's preview, it's time for the women's, and we have all of the big hitters in the draw. Nobody's missing, and I'm fascinated to see who's going to win. This is me and Ben's draw reaction, an instant one. I've not had a good look into the draw. I don't know who's on which half, so let's find out.
That's right, we did the men's earlier. Go check that one out. And now it's time for the women's. We know we've got Sabalenka there, last year's champion. She is the big favourite for this tournament. But we have Coco Gauff in some red-hot form coming into this. She won the WTA final. She looked great at the United Cup. And also, we have Iga there. We also have Rebecca. She's back with a new coach. And Jasmine Paolini, she makes up the big four seeds. It's going to be interesting to see where they are in the draw. Let's get stuck into it, JG.
Yes, and like with the men's, I've not seen the round by round. And I'm also not sure on the narratives. I know Sabalenka's the number one seed, Iga second, Coco Gauff third, Paolini four. You've then got beyond that, Zheng, Rebecca, Pegula, maybe Navarro as dangerous players, but particularly them other names I mentioned, the three, the Zheng, Rebecca, Pegula. I don't know where they fit in at all. So I don't know if you want to give me a little overview now, Ben. Who's had the better of the draw, in your opinion, out of the big four? And when I say the big four, the main four seeds.
I mean, it's tough because I think each have their, I'd say, good and bad. But I would say on first look, I would say Iga would be probably the happiest with the draw. I think it's a little bit top-heavy in the Saba side of the draw. She's the number one seed. And Iga, even though there's a couple of little roadblocks, I think she'll be fairly happy.
Okay, interesting assessment. I'm going to make mine as we go through. You can make yours as well in the comments section. We love to read all of the comments. And thank you for the support on the last one we did. It was great to see so many people's views and comments for the men's instant reaction we did a few hours ago. So go check that out if you haven't seen it. But let's focus on the women's for now. And can some of my favourites do well? Rebecca, I do really like her. I've tipped her to do well this year. I need a big season from her. Coco Gauff, on the other hand, you need a big season from.
Yes, I really do. I'm very excited, and obviously I'm quite excited to see where our wild cards are going to be placed in this draw. Obviously, you have Polina Kudermetova, picked her long before she became a superstar, and I picked Iva Jovic, who luckily got a wild card into the event. Very young talent on the tour. I don't know where they are in the draw. I would love to find out. I think we should do the women's one a bit more plain and simple. I know I dotted around everywhere on the men's one. This one will start with Sabalenka. We'll start with her quarter. She's the reigning defending champion. Let's find out who she's playing in the first
She's the
round.
best player in the world. Best player in the world without a doubt. Fantastic at the Australian Open. The best hard court player. Like the Yannick Sinner on the women's, you'd say, with the hard courts. She's won this now twice in a row. Looks odds-on favourite to do it again. But let's have a look at her draw. So we'll focus on the seeds. We've got Noskova. We've got Freck moving down.
Yeah.
We've got Mira Andreeva, Diana Snyder. So you're telling me this is an easier section, is it?
No, I'm saying that I think it's stacked, a bit top-heavy
sorry,
to Saba's side.
Apologies.
Yeah.
You said it's top-heavy. You said it's tough for her, easier for Iga. I understand what you mean. Vekic, you got Pavlyuchenkova, and King Wing Zheng. I mean, yeah, I can see exactly what you're saying. This is tough. And the reason being, King Wing Zheng, we saw the back end of the year, a very, very dangerous player. She's on the fringes of them sort of big four players, or big three, as per se. And she's shown that she can beat any of them on her day. Really good server. Will like these conditions in Australia. And yeah, I think Saba's going to have a really tough quarterfinal if she is to face her at that stage.
Yeah, I mean, she did so well, didn't she, last year? She was the runner-up to Sabalenka in the final. They wouldn't be able to meet in the final this year. I know that we said she had a little bit of an easier run. I think the stars aligned so that she was able to get to the final. But since then, we saw she won gold at the Olympics. She beat Iga on the court of Roland Garros, which I don't think many people can really say they've done. So I think the confidence is there from her right now, and that's a scary thing. And we've seen Sabalenka, she's picked up a title already coming into this tournament, but it wasn't without a little bit of a struggle to get past old Kudermetova, but maybe that will prove to be a really good result because she's still kept winning, hasn't she, Paulina?
Yeah. The other tough talking point for Sabalenka here is them other two seeds who we both have so high in our top 10 for 2025. We are anticipating big seasons from both Mira Andreeva and Diana Sneijder. I forget exactly where we had them, but I know they were well inside the top 10 for both of us. Yep. We fancy them to do well. And if you look at their respective seedings there, 14 and 12, we think they're better than that. And Mira Andreeva certainly one for the future, who you'd expect to be competing for Grand Slams in the not too distant future. Is it too soon this year? I think so. But she could run some players close. And I think she played Sabalenka recently, if I recall, and Saba beat her quite comfortably. But they have a good relationship. I've seen some of the interviews where they're talking to each other and playing around on court and things. I think Saba is okay against this opponent. She probably could worry more against Diana Sneijder. A bit more of a wild card aspect in the fact that when she's really good, when she's on, it's scary. And Andreeva's just a better overall player. But two really dangerous players to watch out for Saba. And on their day, they have the ability to beat anyone.
Yeah, definitely. She starts off playing Sloane Stephens, though. I mean, out of all of the players who you could potentially play in the first round, that's actually somebody who's actually one of the better players. So on her day, obviously, I mean,
true, yeah,
her day may have been in the past, but you never know. She might be able to pull out a performance, might be able to cause Saba some problems, but Sabalenka looks very, very confident these days, especially on hard courts. It's going to take a lot to be able to get under her skin and get her to start flapping the way she used to, where she used to like the mind used to go on court, didn't it? I don't see that side of her anymore. She looks like she's having fun on and off the court, and that's just bad news for everybody else, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think her having quite a tough draw will show how good her level is, because if she's able to get through this quarter without dropping a set, for me, the second week and the other matches beyond that, the semi-final and the final, I think she'll walk it. I think she'll be fine. I truly believe that getting out of this quarter will show the kind of level she's at. Yeah. And if she's able to do that, she'll probably go on and beat the rest. Unless a Coco Gauff is really inspired. She's the one who does worry me more than, say, even an Iga or a Bacana. I think with Coco, if she's in that final, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, let's have a look at her little section in a bit more detail. Don't forget, in this section, she's got Clara Towson. I believe she just won a tournament coming into this as well. So she's in good form. Linda Noskova, she made the quarterfinals last year, if you remember. She knocked out Iga and Svitolina last year. So very dangerous. And number 10, it says qualifier here. Well, JG, this is your girl, Paulina Kudermetova. And she just took a set off of Sabalenka in the final of the tournament that Sabalenka won. So there's some actually very good players who are unseeded, lower seeded, and she's got some fantastic young players. Like, they're littered through here. You got an ex-Grand Slam champ here in Vondrausova.
You got Tomjanovic, who likes slams, who's got pedigree. Pavlyuchenkova, another one. It is littered with previous good players at this event, and also players who are in form right now. And Paulina Kudermetova, let's be honest, is one of the most in-form female tennis players in the world right now. Yeah. So you can't snuff at that at all and think that's going to be an easy match. We know Saba beat her in the final, but I've seen stranger things happen. We've seen players beat one player one week and then the next week they lose. Paulina has a level in there and she's only getting better. She may use that experience as a really valuable one. You can just have a look at her form here, how she got through the qualifying, very dominant and was very good in Brisbane, beating Kalinina, Kruger, Kasatkina, and there was another one as well, Samsonova.
Yeah.
Brilliant results from her, and definitely dangerous. And on that note, that is my unseeded player to pick from the Sabalenka section. We will be doing that for every section. So we'll look at the seeds, give our opinion on who could do well, and then give our dangerous unseeded player. My one, without a doubt, is Paolini Quarter, who I believe is way inside the top 100 now.
Yeah, I think she's up to 57 in the world now. I mean, it's crazy to think that she was, 109 or something like that?
107 or something.
Something around there. But yeah, very good. I think, like you were saying, if Tomljanovic is playing her best tennis, she could be one who causes a few upsets in this little section as well. But like you're saying, you can't ignore what Paulina's doing at the moment. I think it's fantastic. The way that she won in these matches as well, as you see here, I thought the impressive thing that she was doing was, they say 7-5, 6-4, 6-4, 7-5. These were won just at the end of the sets, just when you need to really turn it on, just when you need to prove you're just that little bit more controlled in the business end. And that's the sign of a good thing to come. Sign. Yeah, so exciting for you. I'm hoping I'm going to have some excitement as well. Let's move on to the next section. Let us know in the comments section.
You've not picked yours, Ben. You've not picked your unseeded
I said,
player.
I reckon I'm going to go Tomljanovic. There you go. I'm going to throw that one in there just because she's in Australia and we know that she can pull out a big result here and there, and not too bad in that little section. Let's move on.
And you're still sad that she broke up with Berrettini.
Well, I'm devastated. I mean, never got over it.
For those who don't know, Ben did a very emotional news video on that where he said that he's so sad many times.
Sad since he broke up with the one after that as well. Yeah, I mean, there's so many. Coco Gauff, she is in the Sabalenka half. And is this a good thing or is this a bad thing for Coco Gauff? Because we know she does well in the finals against Sabalenka. Does she do as well in the semi-finals, though? This is going to be something interesting.
Well, firstly, apologies, I got that wrong a second ago because I didn't realise. I said that maybe Coco in the final against Saba. That can't be. It's even tougher then for Sabalenka because it would be a semi-final match. And out of all of the big players, Coco is probably the player I fear the most for Sabalenka. Yeah. And that's out of everyone. Doesn't mean I think Coco's the second best player. I just feel in that matchup that Saba will be more worried about Coco than other players. Let me know if you guys agree in the comment section or not. I think the head-to-head speaks volumes, and we know how well Coco's done against Saba in the past. Looking down here, you've got Leylah Fernandez, someone who I have inside my top 10. You've got Mukova, someone who Ben's got inside his top 10. Naomi Osaka had her in my top 10 last year, and she started the year very strong. Hopefully, she's physically fit. We know she had a slight injury. Yeah. Ostapenko on a day is a wild card. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what level she's at, but certainly you'd want to avoid her. And Badoza's a bit similar, I guess. She's hot and cold. She had a pretty good year, actually, last year. I think from the middle onwards towards the end, she was very dominant and won quite a few matches. And that's why she is now an 11th seed.
Yeah, she really turned it on last year. It was great to see her going deep in some tournaments. Obviously, she did pretty well at the US Open, got quarterfinals. I think Beijing, she did pretty well as well, semi-finals. But yeah, like you said, ended the year pretty well. So she'll be looking to start this year. Same as Tsitsipas, we were saying, he's looking to start the year with a bang. Maybe Badoza will do the same. Looking down, Marta Kostyuk's in this section, another very good young player. I've got her inside my top 10 come the end of the year. She's 17th seed. Samsonova's here as well. And Jess Pegula is in Coco Gauff's quarter. So it's still... Do you see what I mean when I say in Saba's half, you look at all of these ones as well, I still think that there's loads of good ones here too. Like we've got
Pegula there as well. I mean, it is the who's who. This section, the top half is a lot tougher than the bottom half.
Stacked.
So I feel if you are an Iga or a Bakina, what an opportunity you have here to make the final.
Yes.
I know we're going to go into detail on the bottom half in a second, but just initially thinking about it, Iga and Rebecca, there may be another name as well. It'll come to me when we get to it. But first thoughts, they've got such a nice draw here because this is challenging. And that's what I'm saying. If Sabalenka can get through her quarter and then get through this semi-final match into the final, then she's got to do it because she's had some tough matches. It doesn't always work like that though, because you never. She could face then a Rybakina or an Iga who's won all of their matches in straight sets, not been on the court so much, not had to go through so much adversity, not had to play so many late matches, whereas she's had to do constant 3-set matches time and time again, pushed late in tie breaks. Is that going to physically impact her at the start of the season when we know physically players aren't at their best? So a lot of things to consider for sure. Is there more seeds at the bottom? I think we went through them.
We just had some.
Just the Pegula was the last one.
Yeah.
So looking at the unseeded players, or maybe with the seeded players, who is your most dangerous seeded player here?
Well, it's interesting you say that. I did a video, obviously the seeds when they got announced, and I said dangerous unseeded players. And one of my dangerous unseeded players was, well, two of them are in this section. I said Sofia Kenin, because she's a former champion. And I said Naomi Osaka, another former. I went for former champions, really. And I think that they are. I mean, Naomi Osaka has to be the main one, really. Due to where she is in this little section, if she is back to full fitness, I don't think it's a bad draw. I've seen her play Garcia, it seems, so many times now. They have sort of similar styles with like really hard hitting, but I think she can definitely win that matchup. Garcia's not the same player she was a couple of years ago.
I think the problem with her is that having Mukova so close, and I would fancy Mukova to reap havoc on this draw. But in terms of the seeds, Ben, who's your most dangerous seeded player? Would you go with Coco, or who's the biggest challenger to her?
Yeah, I mean, it's got. I mean, for me, it's got to be Mukova. I don't. Even though Pegula's in there, I'd still go Mukova.
Yeah, I tend to agree at the Australian Open. I feel like she could do quite well. I never forget that match. Was it against Barty, where she almost beat her? So yeah, that's this section. Then I think with the unseeded, I probably will go with Naomi Osaka as well, purely because what she's capable of doing at this level. And we saw glimpses and flashes of it last year when at Roland Garros. She has recently come out and said that she's broke up with her boyfriend, Corday. Very sad for her. But she seems to be smiling. There's a lot of positivity around her camp. And on the call at the moment, she's very happy. So a happy Osaka can be dangerous.
Does this change anything? I know Coco Gauff has got Kenin in the first round, and she leads the head-to-head against Gauff, 2-1.
Not interested. Let's move to the bottom.
All right, no problem. Right, okay, we'll move to the next section. This one, should we start? Let's start with the real bottom of the draw, and then we'll move back to the top half. So we'll go with Iga's.
Oh yeah, Paolini as well. That's the other one.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to leave her to last. So that's what I thought. That's like the cherry on top of the cake. Iga. So let's have a look at her draw. She's right at the bottom of the draw. She starts off, and we see the seeds in hers. We've got Alexandrova. We've got Azarenka, very good in Australia, but still, you look at these players and you think not as good as the Saba section. Kalinskaya, Kasatkina, Putintseva, Sakari, and Navarro. So
unseeded
Jabeur in there. Unseeded Raducanu down the bottom here.
I don't know. I feel it's not as good for me. You've got players in decline. Kasatkina on her day and Kalinskaya are very good. So 112 and 113 I think is dangerous. And Emma Navarro, we saw a fantastic year from her last year. So I'm interested to see how Navarro adapts. I've not seen enough of Navarro to be convinced of her as a player fully. But last year you saw how big I was with her. I was picking her every round at the US Open. I thought she's going to do really well. I have a feeling she's going to have a little bit of a blip the start of this year. Could even lose to Peyton Stearns. So tough for me, this section is an Iga. I think she can do it relatively comfortably. The problems is this Iga is only about 70% of the Iga we know and love. She's nowhere near her best at the moment. So on that basis, it could make it interesting. But if Iga even hits sort of 70 plus, I think she'll be fine and win this section.
Yeah, I mean, Australia, most notably, I think, I'd say after Wimbledon, probably her second worst. She's made the semi-final here once, but last year, 3rd round. Year before that, 4th round. She's got a perfect opportunity this year to get even further. I mean, if she doesn't make the quarterfinals, I will be very, very surprised. I mean, you got Anisimova here. I mean, that is a potential banana skin if she's playing well. But yeah, I mean, it's all ifs and buts with her. I don't know. I think you need to be a consistent tennis player on the tour. If she has an up day and Iga has a down day, it's possible. But I expect Iga to probably do all right in this section. I think Jabeur is probably looking at this draw going, if I'm going to make a comeback right now, I've pretty much been gifted a nice section. She could make a run. I think she could make a run in this top section.
I think so too. I think Jabeur should be rubbing her hands together thinking, you know what, people are not going to be talking about me. I'm unseeded. There's not much expectation.
Nope.
She's got the level here to do really well and get far. And if she can get to a match against Iga, she'll be very pleased with herself for sure. But let's be honest, Ben, we know what you're like on this podcast. We know who you really support. There's only one player you love, Emma Raducanu. There she is, 1-2-2. You told me she is the second coming of Jesus Christ. You told me that she's going to go on and win all the slams and dominate the women's tour.
It's coming soon.
She's struggled. She's really struggled with that. Is she going to be your unseeded player to watch? Do you see her shocking some people and doing really well here at the Australian Open?
I've got to be realistic, really.
That's not really what you do, though, is it, Ben? You love her so much. You're never that realistic, usually. What's happened to BBC, Ben?
Well, I think enough said about the BBC. So I'm going to get into bed with them. I think, looking at this, I think Jabeur has to be the main pick based upon where she's placed in there. There is part of me that quite likes Avanesian. I don't know why. I think that Jabeur actually just played her and beat her in 3 sets, but I think that she was picking up a couple of wins before. She beat Badoza, beat that Shramkova as well. So, I don't know. It's between those two for me, Jabeur and Avanesian.
Okay, if you go down, I'll tell you mine. I saw it a second ago. No, it wasn't there. Apologies. I think I'm getting mixed up with the last one.
That's all right.
So, yeah, I don't have one for this either. I probably
Jabeur?
would. I think I'm going to go for Peyton Stearns. She's my unseeded player to watch. I think if she beats Navarro, then she could wipe out a lot of these names.
It's a good one. I think she's one who's on the come up at the moment, so just needs a big result. That would be a massive result if she was to beat Navarro. Let's get on to the cherry on top of the cake now. It is Jasmine Paolini's section. Here she is.
Or my section. This is my section. 2 of my favourite players on tour, Paolini and Rybakina.
Yeah,
they're in the same quarter. I have them both high in my top 10. You don't even have Paolini in your top 10. Are you a bit nervous now looking at this draw?
I think I have her at number 9 in my top 10.
I don't think you've got her in there, Ben.
I do believe I do. I'd had her dropping down. I didn't have her doing as well as last year.
I'll have to confirm that. Let me know in the comments section, guys, if Ben had Paolini. I'll have to confirm afterwards because I thought you didn't have her in there.
I knew I'd get too much heat if I got her out of there completely, but I had to have her dropping down a little bit because what she did last year was pretty incredible. But has she been gifted a good section here in Australia? And she starts off with a qualifier. I'll be able to tell you who she's playing. It is where are you? Paolini versus Wei. Don't know much about Wei, so I expect her to win that one. And yeah, looking at her little section here, so you've got Svitolina and Balta. So Balta would probably be quite happy with her section as well here. You've got the other Kudermetova, don't speak about her much anymore, do we, Veronica?
Well, funny enough, with Veronica, she is now below Paolini in the rankings,
Wow. That's
which is interesting.
as of the last
and,
week.
and I've just brought your WTA rankings up just to confirm. So it was Gauff, Sabalenka, Iga, Zheng, Andreeva, Mukova, Pegula, Rybakina, Snyder, and Kostyuk. You admitted.
Did I?
You admitted her from your top 10 completely. Did not fancy her. So just to confirm, I'm not having your fake news on there. I pulled up the list, and you never had her there.
I'm glad that you pulled that up because I wouldn't want to be spouting fake news. I think I do that on too many episodes as it is. So let's move up through these seeded players in Paolini's section. We've got Collins, Haddad Meyer, Madison Keys, one of your faves, Yastremska, and Rybakina. So, I mean, this is a perfect opportunity for Rybakina or Paolini to get to the quarterfinal, in my opinion. And I think
Agreed.
you could say the same thing right now, I think, for Katie Boulter as well, because she's been looking pretty damn good. I think she's riding a bit of a high from last year. She's now engaged to Alex de Minaur. She's down under as well in the sort of second home now. I think she's going to have a lot of support, Katie Boulter. You got to remember that. When she goes on court now, she gets the Aussie fans cheering her on because she's with Alex. I think this is brilliant. Did you see Alcaraz on court after his practice match with Alex de Minaur as well?
I didn't see it, no.
Yeah, he was sort of giving him a bit of a ribbon, saying he's like, have you congratulated Alex on his engagement? He was like, oh, yes, I already said to him. He didn't sound like he was very sure. That's not the thing you should be saying on the court in front of everybody. And he was like, what? And then Alex was like giving him some ribbon, saying he's still single, way, or something like that, trying to get some people to send him a bit of interest. But anyway, we've got my wild card in this section, so this is good that we end on this one as well. And here she is up the top. She's quite close to Rybakina, which is
second round match. That's going to be beautiful. Rybakina Jovic, demolish her, Yelena, and show Ben that you should have put you a lot higher. And I agree with your assessment. For me, it's a two-horse race between Rybakina and Paolini. I don't see any of these names doing the business. Keys has abilities too, but I don't think she will. So yeah, fascinated to know what happens. And the best part about it is Paolini really likes to play Rybakina. I feel like she's beaten her quite a few times now.
Yeah, she has. I think Rybakina will see this. I mean, she'll probably be happy that she's in the same half of the draw as Iga because she famously does well against her. But she'll have to get through Paolini potentially to get to Iga. Should Iga even get that far? Paolini, obviously, last year, we remember this was the start of her amazing year. She'd only ever had first round exits for every single year until last year where she made the fourth round. Then she made two finals and then another fourth round. So can she go one better? Can she go to the quarterfinals this year? I think it's highly possible. But let's pick our, best unseeded player. Who's going to cause the upset in this one?
No one from there.
Do you want to know any of the qualifiers? There's quite a few qualifiers in this section.
Yeah, it'd be probably useful, but if you just go to the top, I don't think it's going to be a qualifier.
Okay.
There was someone I saw.
Lulu Sun. Not seen her name
there's
for a
not
while.
really anyone, mate. I don't know. I think I'll let you pick one because I don't have one.
Okay. I'm going to just have a quick look at some of the qualifiers.
Okay, while you do that, let me just speak about Paolini Rybakina, because for those who don't know, they played twice last year and Paolini won both times.
Wow.
The quarterfinals of Roland Garros and also the tour finals on the hard courts. Paolini beat Rybakina in straight sets, tie-break and 6-4.
That's impressive.
Danielle Collins, someone we've skipped past, but I think she's not going to have a very good year this year. My opinion is we're going to see Danielle Collins struggle and do a little bit like what Garcia did a few years ago and what Vondrousova did last year.
Okay. I've just had a look, and we've got, I believe this is the Australian qualifier.
Yeah.
It's up against Minnan. We've got Snigur up against Collins. I mean, they're not really ones I'm going to be picking as
I like
dangerous ones.
Baylek.
Yeah, she's really, really qualified well as well.
Yeah, she'll be my That is my player to watch then. My unseeded player to watch. I think she's fantastic.
I'm not sure
and
she's
she
in
was
this
in my.
section or not.
She was in my one of the players I was considering picking as my wild card for the year. If it wasn't Paolini Quarter, it was close to being
Baylek, yeah.
Baylek, but I could never say her name, so I avoided it.
Yeah, safe with Kudermetova. We've had our sister around for a while, so easier to pronounce. I'm not going to go with a qualifier in this section. Maybe I'll go for Kudermetova, to be honest. There you go. She's right there in the middle. I'll have her.
Yeah, Ben famously had her winning the Australian Open 2 years ago. Is that right?
I think it was something like that, wasn't it? It was one of the previous
I think
years.
it was on the draw preview, mate. You had her winning the Australian Open.
Where did she get to as well? She did quite well, I remember.
First round. First round. I think Anne Lee knocked her out or something.
Someone like a qualifier knocked her out. I don't know. I can't even remember. It was just highly embarrassing. It's like an old scar which has now been opened up. Let's not talk about it any longer. Let's have a look at the routes through to the final. We'll start off with Sabalenka. So it is potentially Stevens, Kartal. Well, if Kartal, that's a good new Brit as well. I think she gets through these fine. We have round 3, Noskova. Towson gets a lot tougher. Round 4, Andreeva. That's Freck or Blinkova. Quarterfinal of Zheng, Schneider. I'm not doing all of these. I've said this already before. Tennis Letter have put so many names on here.
Yeah, it's too many names. Far too many names.
Just saying Zheng or Schneider. There you go.
It's not just that. What we should look at anyway is the first 4 rounds because beyond that, we know it's going to be one of the big names on the draw. It's just I like to see the first 4 rounds to know what the assessment of how easy or hard it is. And looking at this one, I would say this is relatively tough. Noskova and Andreeva early doors is tough. Let's look at the next one.
Yeah, what? The next player, or you want to look down at the next
player?
group?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got Kim Win. Oh, okay. So anyway, it would have been Kim Win Zheng. I just wanted to just make a point and say you don't need to add all of these players on here. I mean, we've got Collins, Keys, Halab.
No, not this. Let's look at the next players.
Yeah, I know, but I just need to make a point. Like, if Tennis Letter's watching, you don't need to put so many on there. All right, cool.
He or she, we don't know.
Or neither. Right.
So Iga, she got Siniakova, Slamkova, Volinets, Anisimova, Raducanu, Kalinskaya, Azarenka. Easy. Very, very easy. I think Iga's had a touch of fortune here.
I think so.
Moving on to the next one.
Next one is Coco Gauff, Kenin, Burridge, Fernandez, I'd say probably there. Mukova or Ostapenko or Osaka. Yeah, I mean, round 4 is very difficult.
A lot tougher than Iga's, but I would say maybe Saba's edges it slightly. I think
maybe.
Saba's edges it, but you could make a case for Coco's being the toughest. I wouldn't be mad at that. But for me, Saba slightly tougher, then Coco, and then at the moment, Iga right at the bottom.
And then we've got to do this one just because I feel it's only fair. Naomi Osaka's path, because Naomi Osaka, obviously a 4-time slam champion. Garcia first round, Mukova second round, Ostapenko third round, Gauff fourth round. I mean, it sounds like a horrible draw, this, to be honest.
Yeah, well, it's going to be because it's the same as the Gauff one, isn't it?
It's not
But
not
the
nice.
difference is some tougher matches early doors. Having Mukova round 2, this is probably the toughest one you can get for Osaka.
If you have to play all of those, I mean, all of those first players, Garcia, Mukova, Ostapenko, Gauff.
There's no guarantee, of course, that she's going to play all of these. This is just on paper.
Or that she'll even get past Garcia.
There's been times we've looked at Nadal's draws, remember, and how tough they are, and he just played not one match against any of them players, and it was never that bad in the end. So
very true.
These are just hearsay. We don't know who they're going to play, but on paper, if the favourites win, then Osaka is in for a very, very tough Australian Open. But there you go. That is our thoughts on the women's draw. Let us know yours in the comment section. If you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new.
That's it. Follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Tell us your best unseeded players in each of the sections and tell us who you think's going to win the Australian Open.
Yeah, we're going to be selecting our ones in the draw preview, going round by round very, very soon. Hopefully tomorrow we'll be bringing you them. So stay tuned on the channel. And if you've not seen our men's reaction, go check it out. But for now, we'll see you very soon. And let's hope Paolini Quarter can do a miracle.
Gonna win.
Let's go.